Why is Poseidon, the Greek god of the seas, also a god of horses? In case you're new to Greek mythology or need a refresher, Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympian gods. After a war in which the gods overthrew the Titans, Zeus, who led the war and is now king over all beings, decided to split up the earth between him and his older brothers, Hades and Poseidon. Zeus got the skies, Hades got the underworld, realm of the dead, and Poseidon got the seas. As god of the sea, Poseidon reigns over all that live in it fish, dolphins, sea turtles, crabs, etc. But something that never made sense to me was why he also lorded over horses. Horses neither reside in the sea, feed from it, or even as far as I know, swim in it. While I admit they look pretty majestic running along the beach, that isn't a compelling enough reason to give them to the god of the sea. Both real and mythological creatures were even named after and derived from horses. The seahorse, its larger mythical older brother, the hippocampus, literally horse monster, and the Pegasus, which is Poseidon and Medusa's son. It would make more sense to give the horse to Artemis, goddess of the hunt and patron of wild animals, or Pan, the god of the wild and its inhabitants. It could be Hermes, complete with the whole backstory and how significant the horse was in the convenience of travel, considering he is the god of roads and travelers. You could even give them to Ares or Athena, as a tribute to their advantage in warfare. All these other gods would find much better use and connection to the horse than Poseidon ever could. But no, it's still his. So I decided to do some digging. Surely there must be a satisfying answer in the origin story somewhere, right? After all, while the peacock is pretty useless to the goddess of marriage and family, Hera, the explanation for how it came to be is satisfactory and doesn't beg more questions than it answers. But in the end, I didn't find anything very solid. Nothing made me feel like I finally totally understood why horses belong to Poseidon. Nothing that made me go, hey, I get it now. In much of the origins I found, you could still replace the horse with nearly any other animal and it wouldn't change the story at all. The few myths that even relate to the creation of the horse all revolve around Poseidon wanting to get in Demeter's pants. There are multiple versions of the story, but just about all of them end in him getting what he wants and her giving birth to the famous alien Arion and mysterious nymph Despona. Demeter was so enraged by what happened that she became known as Demeter Erinis, Demeter the Fury. In addition, there are also myths that present the horse as preceding Poseidon. There are some myths of his mother Rhea, replacing him with a horse to feed Kronos, just like she did a rock for Zeus. But the horse isn't that important in this context. You can still replace it with anything. She could have chopped off Kronos' own foot and fed it to him for all the difference it would make. To separate the horse even further from Poseidon, one source notes that deities in ancient Greece and all over the Mediterranean had ram shapes long before they had horse shapes. For example, in older myths, Hermes and Apollo appeared in the shape of rams. Later on, the horse is introduced from further up north. Just recently, I heard a new reason for the assignment of horses to Poseidon. I was told how the Greeks believed the land to rest upon the sea and earthquakes were caused by shifting waters. I already knew Poseidon was responsible for earthquakes in myth, but I didn't know that horses were also thought to have caused them by stampeding. To me, this does a better job of connecting horses to Poseidon and the land and sea together than some other stories I've learned. In the end, I've concluded that the link between Poseidon and horses is still a weak one. The horse can and does exist entirely separate from Poseidon in its given mythological context, but can also be replaced by just about anything in many myths without changing the meaning. That said, the association is still stronger and more significant than what I perceived it to be before I started my research. It is an improvement, and one I think makes this whole thing worth it. I love Greek mythology, so it's fun learning more about it while getting answers for something that's been plaguing me for nearly a decade. Thanks for watching, everyone, and goodbye.
Created using Powtoon.